there's even been times when Shanna or the kids would ask to call Shanna or vice versa, and if they were in the car with them, there was one particular moment after their first younger sister was born, Bexley, they were so excited to show the baby.
Right.
And they were all in the car, and then Jared and Kirsten freaked the fuck out. They were like, "Blue, no!" Like, they didn't want us to see the baby. They didn't want any of that shit. Nope.
So how did, obviously in your interactions with kids, you haven't interacted with him that much. How did the kids seem, how did they seem towards Jared?
So, there's a big history, I guess, that I could drop on you guys in regards to the kids and their interactions. That's definitely more something since they've been in therapy since the divorce. Dr. Mercedes McGowan, she's like the best.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been there for all of it. I mean, the kids, they have journals that, when they turned 7, I told Shanna, I was like, hey, some of these things that are happening, for them to verbalize it better or to not forget when they go and talk to the therapist, like maybe we should have them write it down. So for them it was more of like, I'm getting my writing practice in, because that's how I introduced it to them, and it was so that they could have all of their information to give to Dr. Mercedes.
Right.
But a lot of it was, sometimes they would talk about how they were scared to ask him stuff, but I don't think it was, I think it was more of a like, oh, like he's going to say no, so I don't want to ask. But then there were other times where, since it was a 50-50, every other week, if we didn't have the kids, we would go on Wednesdays and go to date night, and we'd have them, before it used to be a 2-hour window, we'd go have dinner.
Yeah.
And that's what it was that day,
right.
That Wednesday. He came, picked them up, they went to dinner, dropped them off. So that was normal. But there are plenty of times when, because it's just him at that moment, he'll say specific things to the kids. And we've had to go through a series of roller coasters where, like, he once particularly, Abigail wanted to dye her hair purple. I don't give a fuck. Shit's cool. Whatever. It looks great. Why not do it professionally versus like putting the chalk shit on? That's where my mind is. But she was legitimately scared to ask him and get that rejection. But on top of that, when she did approach it, because I was, it's one of those things where, like, I don't want them to be scared to have that confrontation. It's like, you gotta face it head on, and if they tell you no, who cares?
Right.
Best thing that could happen is they say yes, everybody wins. They say no, well, fuck it, we'll figure out something else.
Right. Yeah.
So she sits there and asks him, and he then proceeded to tell her that if you do that, first it was well, your hair is beautiful just the way it is. Yeah, but I want to do this. And then it was, well, God won't like you, and you won't be accepted in the church. That's where he deviated, like, damn near immediately.
Yeah, pretty sharp turn there.
He told Liam something similar. Then he told him about the rejection in the church in regards to tattoos. And I know that was a stab at Shanna, because Shanna has a sleeve.
Yeah. So
we had to take the kids to, luckily we're friends with a bishop of the religion that lives down the street from us. And him and his wife, like, we get along with their families, it's great. And then Shanna was like, you know what, why don't we take you to go talk to the bishop? And here the kids are asking the bishop questions of, like, hey, like, we were told that we wouldn't, and, he had to just let them know and reassure them. It's like, you'll always be welcome to come into the church. Like, you will not be rejected for that. And then that turned sour, because the kids told Jared, hey, the bishop told us that it was fine.
Yeah.
Jared then, on the following date night, he drove to the church and got into a pissing contest with the bishop. And the bishop, like, the kids were there, so the bishop's like, hey guys, why don't you guys go outside? So he had an entire chat with him and just let him get it all out. And then after the confrontation, he's like, what are you on, man? Why would you not want the mother of your children to succeed so that they could have better?
Right.
That's pretty much where it went, and he just lost his shit. Left. I guess they went to go get dinner, and then he asked the kids to tell them where he lives, and then they drove past his house.
When was that? How long ago was that?
Shit, that had to have been 2 years ago.
2 years?
It was before COVID, so it's definitely 2 years ago.
What's
That's like the timeline before COVID.
Do you know the bishop's name?
I always forget his Curry.
Curry.
That's his last name.
And his church is up here on is it
on Penman?
Penman?
Yeah. Yeah, and then the bishop, he had to contact legal in regards to the legal portion of the church. You know, kind of notified.
Why did he have to contact legal?
Because I guess it's because of their interaction and because he drove by his house. It's one of those like.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It's weird as hell. You know.
Did it get physical or anything? Or
no, just very verbal, and then he asked the kids to take him and show him where his house is.
Did they tell you? Did he tell you what he said or anything like that?
What did the bishop tell us?
Yeah.
He pretty much told us that he was asking why he would, like, more or less interact and help someone who has left the church, and he was harping on Shanna. That's pretty much where it went. And then for the bishop, it was more of a, again, like, why would you want the mother of your children to fail? You know, why would you not want them to succeed? Because it's that 50-50. And then, you know, I can barely remember it, but he dropped the verse on him where it's just like, you know, even if you have one sheep that has separated, why would you not go out of your way to get that sheep either back to the flock or just to safety?
Yeah.
So he hit them with that, and he didn't like that shit at all. So.
When you say succeed, you said you keep saying that why would you want her to succeed, Shanna? Like, what do you mean, like professionally or like spiritually or like what?
I guess I don't know if at that point the bishop was talking about like in the spiritual. I don't know if it was the spiritual sense. I'm not him. We'd have to ask him.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty positive that interaction was more of a why are you helping her, and it's like why would you not want to help her?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So let's come to date night, and you know we're just trying to get an idea about how it works, kind of what happened that night. I know it got shifted because of gymnastics.
Yep.
So, like typically on a typical date night, when Jared would come and pick up the kids, how did it go from like start to end?
So he usually pulls up, texts here.
Mm-hmm.
The kids walk out, and we usually watch them get in the car. And then when they come home, they just come in. We've taught them how to have a keypad on the house.
Mm-hmm.
So if the garage is closed, they hit the keypad, or they just come in through the garage.